Hey guys! So today I wanted to talk about the second Harry Potter book, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets by J.K. Rowling, and I've already done a book discussion over the first book, and I had so much fun talking about it and talking to you guys about it in the comments section, and I wanted to do it over the second book. Plus a lot of you requested that I continue, so here I am. So this is going to be a book discussion, so if you have not read the book, I really strongly encourage you to leave and go read it first, and then come and join us to discuss. Yeah. So, by the way, I just came from my bridal shower, and it was so much fun. And my sister knows how much I love, like, Audrey Hepburn and, like, okay, Breakfast at Tiffany's, for example, one of her movies I love. And my sister did a total, like, decked out. It was so pretty. She had, like, the color cord. She had, like, Tiffany & Co., like, boxes. And she had, like, chocolates that said, like, Jessica & Co. And it was just so pretty. I was so proud of her for putting, like, so much effort. And, like, because I wasn't allowed to see it till today. Like, it was all supposed to be a surprise. And it was, like, a brunch kind of thing. And we had, like, muffins and juice. And it was so cool. It was a lot of fun. And I had so many fun, like, great people show up, and I got a lot of great gifts for me and Jake's like house, and yeah, I'm super excited. And I think probably my favorite gift was this picnic basket, and it is like decked out. It is like the coolest thing ever. It's got like, it's like stocked, so there's like a little, like 2 plates and like 2 wine glasses and like 2 little forks and like 2 little knives and like 2 little tiny salt and pepper things, and there's actually a bottle of wine in it, which was cool. And it was just the coolest, like, it looked like a treasure box when I opened it, like this package, and I was like, what? Treasure? But it was a picnic basket, and it was so cool. That's probably my favorite. So me and Jake should definitely go on a lot of picnics in the future. And that's actually how he proposed, is at like a picnic. I don't know if you guys knew that, but anyways, so back to Harry Potter. So last time I said that my favorite characters were Harry, Hermione, Hagrid, and Dumbledore. And those 4 characters are still true in this book. However, I've just like increased the number of characters. I now added Mr. Weasley, Ron, and Fred and George to the list, and including the original 4. And I basically just throughout the series just keep adding people. So Ron's dad is so flippin' funny. Like, I loved just like, I like that he's so interested in muggles and stuff, because I think that's kind of somewhat rare, especially like in this book when we're talking about like mudbloods and like just pure blood, so much pure blood stuff. So it's so refreshing, I guess, to just hear someone so eager to learn about muggles. And like, I love that he's so interested in like Hermione's parents and stuff. And I love when let's see, he's talking about like the traveling by flu powder, and then Mr. Weasley's like, well, how did you get to Diagon Alley to buy your school things last year? I went on the underground. Really? Said Mr. Weasley eagerly. Were there excavators? Like, this is just my beginning of my love for Mr. Weasley. And I love it when they steal the car, and he's like so excited and interested that they stole the car, and like he wants to know how it ran and stuff. But yeah, he is the one that became my favorite this book, and he just like continues on. Oh, and I like that he stands up to Mr. Malfoy and stuff, because he is a total jerk, and I just am excited that he, I don't know, he doesn't like take crap. I like that he is, I feel like he's really brave, and I feel like he stands up for what he believes in. And even though people like Lucius Malfoy like look down on him for stuff like the Muggle Protection Act, I really like that he still like holds true to like what he believes in, and he's just such a great guy. And I just think that anyone would love to have him as a dad, and Ron and the others are just so lucky to have him. And then of course Ron was added to my list. He was not added the first book. I just remember the first book reading it and really liking Harry and like Hermione, but I didn't really like Ron until this book. I mean, I love him from here on out, and he becomes like my favorite character, and he has so many funny lines. But I think the first one, I just got mad at him because he was kind of mean to Hermione and stuff, but it's all good now. They're all 3 friends. I really like that Ron is so loyal to Harry, because I feel like these Hogwarts students are so wishy-washy with their love on Harry. And like, he arrives at Hogwarts, and even before he arrives at Hogwarts, everyone loves him, and he's the famous Harry Potter. And then the whole deal with like the first year, how he lost all those points for Gryffindor, and everyone like hated him, and it was almost like a school record for losing so many points in like one night, and he just felt awful. But then by the end of the book, everyone loved him again, and the whole deal with like in the dungeons and defeating Voldemort, and Professor Dumbledore gave him all those points back and all that stuff. So in the end they won, and they love him after like Quidditch matches, but it's like they're just so wishy-washy. And then like this book, they all started out loving him again, and then all this sketchy stuff started happening with the Chamber of Secrets, and everyone's like immediately, it's that Harry kid, and everyone starts hating on Harry again and saying he's the heir of Slytherin. And then by the end of the book, they're back to loving him again, and it's just, they're like, just make up your minds, just love him or don't love him. I mean, you should love him. But anyways, I'm just really proud of Ron and Hermione for like sticking through with him, and they're just so loyal to him, because obviously most kids wouldn't do that, and obviously most kids didn't do that at Hogwarts. And I really like Fred and George, how they stuck with him too, and I really like that they just like made jokes out of it. I just like Ron, like he just has so many great lines in this book. Like he's like, "Can you believe our luck?" said Ron miserably, bending down to pick up Scabbers. "Of all the trees we could have hit, we had to hit the one that hits back," which like made me laugh out loud, because that's so true. Like it would be their luck. And actually Ron is smarter than people think, because towards the end of the book, when they are talking about Tom Riddle's diary, and Hermione's saying like, "Oh, it could have hidden powers," and then Ron saying like, you know, well, you should just chuck it, Harry. And then Harry's saying he wished he knew why someone did try to chuck it. And then he's wondering why Riddle got an award for special services to Hogwarts. And Ron's like, could have been anything. Maybe he got 30 owls or saved a teacher from the giant squid. Maybe he murdered Myrtle. That would have done everyone a favor. And I'm like, yes, Ron, yes. Which, obviously, that's what I was thinking rereading it. Obviously not the first time. But anyways, Ron is actually, I think, a little smarter than people give him credit for. And it's, I mean, compared to his family with like his older brothers, I don't think he's like the smartest of the group, you know, with Percy and stuff in his family. But, you know, he is, I think, a smart kid, and I really like him. I just love when Fred and George are going down the hallway, and they're like, "Make way for the heir of Slytherin, seriously evil wizard coming through." And everyone else is so terrified, and they're just making jokes of everything. And I feel like their two characters just get better and better as the books go on, and I just learned to love them so much. So that is my list of favorite people. And then there's my favorite part. And I'm going to say the summer at the Burrow is one of my favorite parts for Harry. I was just so happy for him that he was able to I don't know, I was just so happy for him that he actually was able to have a normal summer for once in his life, and he didn't have to be around the Dursleys, and I was just so happy for him. And I love the scene, like, I love the chapter, like, when they're denoming the garden and stuff. That was just so cool. And by the way, I know a lot of people, like, make fun of Pottermore, and that it's, like, not that cool and stuff, but I kind of like it. But anyways, I remember I got a really high score on the denoming part, so, yeah. And then their one class, now that I don't remember how to say it. Is it herbology or herbology? Is the H silent? Well, anyways, their herbology class, I really like that class, and like with the mandrakes and stuff. I just like it when they're in the classes sometimes, because you hear about it, like briefly mentioned, like, oh, potion sucks, but you don't really actually, I feel like we're not really in the classroom with them that much. A lot of the stuff happens like outside of class and like in the corridors and stuff. Of course, like the first time I read this book, one of my favorite parts was when Harry and Ron like figure everything out, and like they figure out the monster is like a basilisk, and I love that they just like piece everything together, and they like realize, you know, oh, this person was looking in the mirror, and this person was looking in the puddle, and oh, this person was looking through the ghost. And I love that, like they piece it all together, and it's just like, so I don't know, I love that. And then of course, another one of my favorite parts, I'm going to say probably the last really favorite part, is when Dobby's set free! Oh my gosh, I love Dobby. So I didn't list him as my favorite character, but he becomes my favorite character later on in the series. I think he didn't become my favorite character because if you remember, a lot of you that I've read the whole series are like, you don't like Dobby? No, in this book is what I'm talking about. When he says he causes so much trouble for Harry. Like in the beginning, when he's trying to like not get him to Hogwarts with the pudding in his house. And I was so angry, and the bars. But then luckily, the Weasleys and their flying car came to the rescue because, oh, that Dobby would have... Anyways, so you kind of pity him from the beginning because of, like, his clothes, like his pillowcase and stuff. But still. And then, like, he sealed the barrier, and then Ron and him couldn't get through, causing more trouble for them. And then they flew the car into the Whomping Willow, and he just caused so much trouble. And with and then the Quidditch match, when he almost got Harry killed. Like, I mean, in the end, he just lost the bones in his arms, thanks to frickin' Professor Lockhart. So yeah, Dobby was super annoying, almost like the entire part of the whole book. And I was so frustrated because it's like, okay, he's not going to any lengths to save any of the other students. He's just making Harry's life horrible. And I understand, like, Harry's important and stuff, but come on, stop trying to save his life, because you're doing not a very good job of it. But anyways, throughout the book, I was just so happy. Oh my gosh, I was like, I think in tears almost the first time I read this. And when Dobby got set free and the sock, that was so smart. Harry, that was such a good idea to do that with the diary. I was like, after it happened, I was like, oh my god. I have a can't stand list, and Lucius Malfoy is like number 1. In the first book, I mentioned that I really don't like Draco, his son, and that's still true, but I feel like Draco wasn't as bad this book. There was still a whole scene with him being really rude to Hermione and calling her a mudblood, and then the whole scene with Ron and the slugs. But anyways, I feel like he really kind of just sat back a lot in this book, and maybe that's because the heir of Slytherin was taking care of a lot of his business. But he really wasn't as awful, maybe, as normal, I feel like, as maybe the first book, maybe. But also, that's probably because his dad was doing so much damage this book with, in the beginning of the book, in Diagon Alley, he was being such a jerk to the Weasleys and that whole deal. And then, like, with getting Dumbledore kicked out of Hogwarts and the ending, just all throughout the book. Basically, Draco's dad is a jerk, and he definitely made my can't stand list. And my gosh, seriously, I probably would have turned out how Draco is too, or maybe not. But if I had a dad like that, I mean, seriously, like, the guy is a freaking jerk face. So the only other person that I added to my can't stand list is Gilderoy Lockhart. And Professor Lockhart is seriously so annoying. Oh my gosh. I'm glad he's in the book because he was hilarious. But so many scenes, I was just like, shut up, you idiot. You are so stupid. Like when he was trying to help Harry and when he's acting just, oh my gosh. Let me just read you a couple of the parts. I love that he's just like, oh, it's my fault. I gave you a taste for publicity, didn't I? I gave you the bug. You got onto the front page of the paper with me and you couldn't wait to do it again. Just shut up. And I just love when he's like, I understand, Harry. He's like, I know, it's not quite as good as winning Witch Weekly's Most Charming Smile award 5 times in a row, as I have. But it's a start, Harry. It's a start. But when I was 12, I was just as much of a nobody as you are now. In fact, I'd say I was even more of a nobody. I mean, a few people have heard of you, haven't they? All that business with he who must not be named. Really? Really? And I love how when they're trying to get the book from the restricted area, and Ron's like, oh, come on, no teacher's gonna fall for that. They'd have to be really thick. And then the next line, they're talking about Professor Lockhart, and they gotta get him to sign it. He's so stupid. He was, I mean, annoying the whole book, like how Harry's detention was with him signing fan mail. Really? Like, he's so funny, though, that, like, he's so stupid funny. So, one thing I don't understand is why Snape likes Draco so much. I don't understand that, because Draco is a bully, and Draco bullies Harry, and even though Snape doesn't like Harry, you would think he wouldn't like Draco so much because Snape used to be bullied, and so you would think that he would be able to understand, unless he just hates Harry so much he's able to just not really care about that, and he's just happy that someone's bullying Harry. I don't really know, but I just think that's odd. Oh, I think it's weird that they talk about the wizard hat they talk about the wizard hat so much in these books, but you never see them in the movies. I think they showed him like in the first movie. Quite frankly, I kind of like it that they don't. I think they look kind of goofy like in the first movie when they're all sitting there with their black pointed hats. Just personal opinion. So I have a question. Why would Lockhart even take the position of being a Hogwarts professor if he knows students are going to be asking questions and things? Is he just that well educated on the material? Even though he didn't do it, did he just research it so much so he knows about it? Because I feel like just jumping into that position is just asking for bad news, because you're having people directly ask you about your work and your knowledge and stuff, and he didn't even do it. So unless he just studied up on it so well that he can just spout out like all these facts and stuff and he knows about it, it's just that he's maybe lied about doing it. I don't know. I just feel like he was just asking for trouble. And if you're gonna lie about it, you should just write the book and then not talk to anyone about it. Just like keep out of the spotlight, because I feel like you're eventually gonna be found out that you're a liar and a faker. Because he was in the position where he was supposed to be protecting the school, like for the Chamber of Secrets. And because he kept going on and on about it, they're like, oh, it's now your opportunity. And I don't know, it just seems like if I were him and I lied about it, I wouldn't take up a position to then teach it. I don't know. It just did seem like very smart if he wanted to keep it under wraps. Okay, this is another question. I have a lot of questions this time. So why, towards the beginning of the book, when Harry was hearing the snake, I understand why they, like the others, could not understand what the snake was saying because they cannot speak Parseltongue, but why didn't they hear it hissing and stuff? Because they can hear it, like hissing snake noises, when Harry speaks Parseltongue, but I don't understand how they didn't hear it when they're all three together and Harry hears it and they didn't hear anything. Are they thinking it's just the pipes that are like whistling? Because it's in the pipes? I don't know, but I've always wondered that, like how Harry is the only one that hears this thing and everyone around him is just oblivious. Like Lockhart I can kind of understand because he just seems kind of like someone that would not notice things like that. But I don't understand how like Hermione and Ron didn't notice. So before I go, I want to mention, I know this video is long and I'm sorry, but I just have a lot to say about this book, okay? Look at all my little tags. I wanted to talk about them all, but I'm not, because I don't want you guys to be like, Jessica, you need to make your video shorter, which people do, but whatever. Another funny quote from Ron is, "That'd be a cheerful visit. Hello, Hagrid. Tell us, have you been setting anything mad and hairy loose in the castle lately?" I knew. By the way, did you guys suspect him? Because I never, ever believed that from the beginning. Like, Tom Riddle just kind of seemed a little wishy-washy from the start, and Hagrid is Hagrid. Hagrid wouldn't kill anyone. Yeah, he loves monsters and stuff, so that part's believable, but no. I love it whenever Hermione, like, figures it out, or she thinks she figures it out, and so she runs out to the library, and then Harry and Ron are talking, and, but why has she got to go to the library? Because that's what Hermione does, said Ron, shrugging. When in doubt, go to the library. I like that. I love that Ron is so scared of things, and I don't know why, but I just think it's a really charming, like, cute thing about him. I like that he's afraid of spiders, and, like, he's so scared of going in, like, the Forbidden Forest. But Harry is actually pretty brave, for the most part, for being, like, his age. What is he now, 12? And he's, like, freaking, yeah, he's really brave. But I love it when they're talking about how there's going to be exams still. And it said, Ron looked as though he'd just been told he had to go and live in the Forbidden Forest. I love J.K. Rowling's writing. I love it. I love her descriptions, her analogies. Her writing is so good. That's why I put so many markers in this book, because I just love so much. And then, of course, I have an awesome Dumbledore quote. They're talking about where Harry should be. Exactly, said Dumbledore, which makes you very different from Tom Riddle. It is our choices, Harry, that show us what we truly are far more than our abilities. Love that. Okay, that's it for the quotes. This has been an extremely long book discussion. I hope that I have sparked some conversation or anything, or maybe we have some things in common about Harry Potter. I don't know. But you guys should definitely now go to the comments and leave me a comment saying, like, your favorite character from this book, your favorite part from this book. If you know the answers to the questions I brought up earlier, I kind of listed a bunch of them. Thanks for staying if you are still watching this, because this has been a long discussion, and I know it, but when I get excited about stuff, I just like to talk a lot about it because I just get excited. I'm sorry. Okay, let me know if you want me to continue and do book 3. And yeah, that's all I have. I hope you guys have a great day. Go talk to me about Harry Potter. Bye!